Welcome to Wiggles World Network, home of the unworked from necessary opinion, man. We are live with this, your boy Wiggles. I'm excited. I'm elated. It's a little late in the hour, man, but we are here Monday nights. You know what Monday nights is for, man. You know exactly what Monday nights is for. Live with your boy Wiggles, man. We got the one and only, man. I'm so excited. I'm like super duper excited. I'm about to get ready to share this to my page real quick. So y'all go ahead and jump in, chime in right now. We sharing it to everybody everywhere. Man, this is gonna be crazy, man. This is gonna be it's gonna be so crazy, bro. Let me get to this bio. Let me get to this bio because this bio is one of the most impeccable things that I've ever come across in my entire life, man. And I just gotta make sure that I have everybody watching right now, man. I gotta get everybody watching. I ain't gonna shortchange it at all whatsoever. The GSU legend, man, is in the building. Is crazy, man. So as I said earlier, man, y'all didn't know, man, but those that been following my page, man, I'm in Albany, Georgia right now, man. It's homecoming. Uh, Being able to celebrate, man, with these young kids out here, man, they doing that thing. I'm excited about it, and so my bro was kind enough, man, and gracious enough to come on with me later, man. We didn't have to reschedule, and so I appreciate him for that. I need everybody, if you're tuning in right now, please share the video again. Welcome to Wiggles World Network, home of the unwarranted but necessary opinion. Didn't nobody ask me for it, but I'm giving it to him right now, man. And I need to get that hashtag real GSU. What that is, Southern not state. We need all of that. So let's go. Manhood mindset.
All day.
We got Dr. Marion Christopher Pugh in the building. He is a sincere servant leader and highly accomplished educator, speaker, and consultant with a keen ability to equip teachers, students, parents, administrators, stakeholders with a fundamental knowledge of understanding culture and climate in an academic and professional environment. He offers practical skills and programs to help examine the nature and function of culture, develop effective individual and group cross-cultural communication skills, clarify definition and implication of professional consistency, and recognize the influences of culture on learning, development, and risk management. That alone, my boy, that alone just shuts everything down. But I'm still going under the initiative of Manhood Mindset Consulting. Dr. Pugh provides consulting services for businesses, universities, school systems, family advocacy agencies, and organizations that assist with developing solution-based strategies. Services are also provided for people who benefit from family structure consulting, coaching, counseling, and overall self-improvement. Dr. Pugh is uniquely skilled in creating a supportive one-on-one academic setting while assisting students in meeting and exceeding educational goals for the purpose of college and career readiness, while also implementing social emotional learning in the process. Dr. Pugh is a top-notch communicator who can convey messages to diverse audiences and group sizes, written and verbally. His experience in professional training, teaching, consulting, and coaching has assisted him in his development as an educator and an advocate for people who are interested in personal and professional growth, success, and significance. His approach to consulting includes, but is not limited to, the following: advising, mentoring, coaching, programming, professional speaking, conference planning, teaching, and personal development training. Training topics include risk management, comprehension, application and leadership development, social emotional awareness, conflict management, and cross-cultural communication. Dr. Pugh is committed to providing service that creates solutions for issues that people face in a wide spectrum of communities, and is specifically passionate about people learning how to develop social stamina and be intentional about maximizing learning in academic settings. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the network for the very first time, my friend, my brother, Dr. Marion Christopher Pugh. I know him, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to disrespect him, because he's up
No, it
there.
ain't.
You know what I'm saying? I know him as Big Chris with the braids. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
man.
Big Chris, hey man, bro. I'm so elated. I'm so thankful. I'm grateful, man. I feel like I just did a drink champs. But that's what it felt like, man. I felt like Noriega, man, going off the list.
For sure.
Bro, I've been watching what you've been doing for so long. And bro,
Love, all love.
I don't even think people really understand, the fullness of what you do. Cause I hadn't even read the second or the third sheet. And the second and third sheet ain't paragraphs, y'all. It's just a list of what he has done, in his time as a speaker, as an educator, as a trainer, as a consultant, as a leader, man. And this is so crazy. And so I usually allow people to really reintroduce themselves, right? But what I want to do
for sure.
I want to give you that time, man, to just let everybody know who you are in a nutshell. And we're gonna have a conversation about what I read and a conversation about what you said, and we're gonna go from there, brother. Let's go.
For sure. Well, first of all, man, thank you so much for inviting me to your show, and much love to you, your staff, everybody who's responsible for creating the brainchild of what this is, man. It's your boy Wiggles. You've been creating an atmosphere where people are safe, people are sound, and people are creative ever since I met you, man. So kudos to you and everything that you do. And I speak nothing but life and love to you, brother, for real.
Thank you, brother.
You already made it, man. Just make sure you never ever try to compete with people that ain't even in your league. So you already doing your thing, brother.
I'm
so
going
don't
to the
worry
next
about
level.
nobody.
I'm gonna hire you as my coach right now. I'm gonna hire
you.
you.
Just do it. For real. So just at the end of the day, in a nutshell, man, if I had to just describe who I am, man, I'm a human being that's learning in front of everybody else. That's pretty much it, man. Just a human being trying to figure it out. I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. You know what I mean? So I stay humble, but I'm hungry. I'm passionate, but I'm patient. You know what I mean? Also, too, man, I realize how important it is to effectively communicate. A lot of people have severed marriages, relationships, jobs, severed just communications and connections with people because they didn't know what to say when it was the time to say it. You know what I mean? And my entire life, I've been around people who wanted to communicate better. They just didn't have the words or the patience or just the intention of trying to, get their words across, man. So it starts with childhood, man. Right now I'm figuring out and I'm looking at a lot of people. I'm not one of these people that think everything is all bad, but I can't ignore the bad that I'm seeing, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So I acknowledge all the positivity, but if I just act like it's all positive and there's no opportunity for growth and opportunity to provide some solutions, then I'm a big hypocrite. You know what I mean? So what I try to do, man, is just highlight the strengths, and then we're going to address the weaknesses. Just because I'm addressing the weaknesses doesn't mean I think people weak. I just want to address the opportunity for growth. And I think a lot of people have that, man. And one thing about me, I just apply what I've seen. I had a lot of lived experiences, a lot of triumphs and tragedies, but a lot of people may not know this, man. There's in the court of law, man, there's nothing more powerful than that witness. I had to witness a lot of people suffer from things they couldn't control, but I also witnessed people suffer from the things they could control and chose not to. You know what I mean? And I'm no different, but I've seen people suffer more than I did, and I felt it. So that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Man. Whoo, look, y'all, if you need a coach, man, I'm telling you, this is your coach right here, man. This is your coach right here. You need him. I mean, I'm pretty sure you just wowed everybody, like,
man.
Bro. So I want to go to what you said. Childhood is important. So speaking of childhood, man, take us through your childhood, man. Where you from? Where you grew up at? What was child life like for you?
Well, I put like this, man, like childhood was, I would say, balanced. I had when I say an intense amount of support and the right amount of disappointment to create to create the mindset that I have right now. Nothing's all good and nothing's all bad, but I thank God every day I had way more good days than bad. But I'm so glad that I had the right amount of bad days that it didn't turn me bitter.
Right.
Does that make sense? So I had enough of them for me to stop assuming that everything was going to be all right without me working for it. But I had enough good days to make me thankful that the bad days didn't outnumber. If that make any sense, right? So you're just dealing with a kid, man, that I was surrounded by a lot of people who loved each other. who supported each other, but I also was surrounded by people who did not know how to communicate.
Mm.
Family, friends, teammates. I mean, it was just some people who were arguing all day, and I just used to sit back and listen. I was like, man, y'all saying the same thing. Y'all just trying to overpower each other. So as a young kid, man, my childhood was, I was surrounded by conflict. That's how I ended up being interested in peace. I was just surrounded by it. But it wasn't hostile, it wasn't evil. It was just, some of it was unnecessary and most of it was based off confusion, right? So I looked at it as a kid. When I saw confusion, I looked at it as an opportunity for clarity. That's all I saw confusion was. I didn't look at it as malicious. I didn't think people were really mad at each other, because usually when I saw people beefing, maybe like 10 months or 10 years after they weren't talking, they don't even know why they didn't even beef in the first place. And then most of the times they made a decision based off of a rumor, that they didn't even do the work to find out if the truth was really there or not. They just believed what they wanted to believe because it was easier. It was a comfort zone. And what a lot of people don't understand is rumors are the easy way out. Rumors don't require you to work. Rumors actually is one of the biggest excuses we have to sever all of our relationships. Wow. That's what I was seeing as a kid. So as a kid, man, I knew I had a interest, a gift, and a talent for communication when I used to figure out ways for my parents to talk. Right, a lot of kids may not understand. Like when your parents get into arguments and stuff, some of us shut down and all of that stuff. I used to get interested and go up to them and just be like, "All right, what you about to say?" Mm-hmm. Okay, what you about to say? That's all you got to say? All right, what I just heard her say is X, Y, and Z. Oh my, you got to listen to him. That's what he just said. So I was really interested in finding out where the communication failed. And I just started getting really, really good at finding out when somebody stopped listening. That's when they started yelling. So I took that talent and went straight to the elementary and middle schools. And in middle school, I went to Chapel Hill Junior High in Decatur, Georgia, right? And at Chapel Hill, I found out that I had a talent with peer mediation. I started peer mediating in middle school. Didn't even ask myself, I didn't even volunteer to do it. They just thought I would be good at it. I forgot even who actually drafted me to do it. But it got to the point where it was students. I mean, I'm talking about intense things like rival gangs. I mean, it was a lot of different stuff. They would get me out of class to mediate between two sides, and then I would be able to have them come to an agreement so we can have a safe environment to learn. And that followed me all the way up until this conversation we're having right now. I just know how to make sure that two opposite ends of the spectrum, I don't force anybody to agree. A lot of people may not know this about me. I don't think everybody's supposed to get along. I don't think everybody's supposed to be in the same space. I just keep people from forcing something that ain't supposed to be forced. And then when I let people off the hook, usually a genuine and organic relationship, even if the relationship has to end, it's still an organic relationship because both of them realize the truth that we ain't supposed to be in each other's life no more.
Brother, hold on, wait. Hold on, man, because you going in, man. First time Wiggles World Network history, man. We getting this type of coaching, man. This type of counseling right now. I feel like shackles are falling. Yo, hey, look, if y'all just not tuning in, man, this is Wiggles World Network, home of the young woman, tip and necessary European. I am. It's your boy Wiggles, aka Trey. We got the one and only Dr. Chris Pugh. He's in the building, man. I'm excited about this. If you've already shared the video, man, share the video again. Tag friends, family, colleagues, co-workers, let them know they need to hear what's happening, hear what's going on right now, because I need to get everybody connected. I need to get everybody dialed in. So as a kid, and you're growing and you're learning, okay, communication, you're learning, maybe people just don't belong with each other, all of those things. Outside of that, I mean, we're gonna do a quick pause. Outside of that, what else are you engaged in and involved with middle school, high school?
Well, in middle school and high school, man, I was heavily involved in band, which a lot of people don't understand, man. When you read music, that's a different language. If you know how to read music, you know how to read a language that a lot of people don't know how to read just by looking at a sheet of paper. So it taught me patience and discipline and also respect for culture. When I was in band, I had to recognize and respect the culture that some people were so talented, they didn't even have to read music. They could look at something once, memorize it, and go on a field and walk and make formations and shapes and all of that. I never did it because I played football. I was in concert band, but I used to have so much respect for a lot of people who were in the marching band and concert band. So it helped me understand discipline. But I was always interested in football, and that's the key to what I do right now. What a lot of people don't know is I had a career-ending injury in senior year at Cedar Grove. But what I do with my mindset is I play football with my mind every day. And I tell people this, what I learned in middle school, I found out that manhood was just like being an offensive lineman. No matter what the defense is doing, if you flinch, you the one that got to pay. And so I always tell kids this all the time, man. That's the reason why kids flock to football, because it's structured, it's disciplined, and I would say it's focused aggression. When men don't have something to focus on, chaos is right around the corner. So I was so thankful that I had so many different avenues to stay active. I had parents that always had me dealing with something. My first sport was soccer. Well, I had to run around that field. I was Big Chris. I was Big Chris as a baby. I ain't never had no baby. A lot of people don't know this. I never had baby clothes. so my mom was just like, nope, he got to run something. He got to get out the house because these oatmeal pies keep getting low. So, but also too, I do want to say something. A lot of people may not know this. I grew up in the church, but I went to a private Muslim school as a kid. A lot of people don't know that. I was exposed to Islam and Christianity simultaneously as a young person. And I had a Bible and a Quran ever since I was a kid. And I could read both of them. It got to the point where I could read and speak Arabic. As soon as I went to public school, they went away. But right on the cab, just swipe the computer clean, don't it? I just mess with you. All love to the cab. But I was saying that I was exposed to people who were supposed to not even get along. So I was born in conflicting religions, conflicting ideas, but I saw so much similarity in them. I didn't have to argue with nobody because a lot of people have made assumptions about the other side. And I would just sit there in the middle like, wow, y'all really just don't know. So I had friends all over the place who have different walks of life, different culture, and that's just the beginning part. So I thank my mother, I thank my family members for just being open-minded. You know what I mean? Because some people, they won't allow you to be exposed to anything different. I mean, I was in a mosque and a private school Monday through Friday, and I was in the church Saturday and Sunday. So a lot of people may not know that about me, man. I don't have that preconceived notion about different cultures, man, because I know how it feels to have somebody assume something about you without talking directly to you.
So
you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this kind of like forward, but as a kid in your mind, being able to identify with both Muslim or the Islamic religion and Christianity, what stood out the most to you about the both of them?
Both of them, this is me because I'm not an official representative of either one, right? But one thing in my experience with both of them had similar principles. I'm serious. A lot of people don't know that Jesus is in the Quran. So when I was reading about Jesus in the Quran, a lot of people didn't know that. But I had to read the Quran every day. And we were reading the Bible in the Muslim school as well. It's Sister Claire Muhammad School. Shout out to everybody at Sister Claire Muhammad School, right? And they were open-minded. But one of the things that a lot of people don't get is from my observation and limited observation, people have a different point of opinion about the status of Jesus. Is he God or just a man? You know what I mean? And that's what I just found out that a lot of people had issues with. And honestly, my response when people ask me what I think, I just said, well, I'm not going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I know. I wasn't there. That's what I used to. You know what I'm saying? This is what a lot of people don't get. When you're dealing with controversy, all the thing you got to do is not lie. It's simple to me. Sure. But a lot of people try to pretend that they know something when you weren't even there. So what I do, people have respect for me because I don't lie to them. But I can't wait to let you know that I can't tell you an answer. That don't mean I'm glad that I don't know, but I'm glad that I ain't finna lie to you, and I don't think I have to.
Right.
Because if we're talking about the most powerful human being to ever live, my opinion really means absolutely nothing if you really think about it.
Right.
Like he's not worried about, Jesus don't. Jesus don't run for office. He don't need my vote for his position. Like it's not we didn't elect him. He was, he was born. Like, so the arguments that I saw a lot of people, and I'm not trying to make light of this because a lot of people have had some serious conflict about this. I'm just letting people know my experience, being in the middle, reading it for myself, trying to gain more knowledge and being patient with it, man. So it got to that point where I just said, look, I wasn't there. I just like the principles. I like what he said. I live by what he said. But as far as the status, ask him. Just ask him directly. We're gonna be arguing all day. Have y'all ever tried to argue about somebody you ain't met before? You see how the Jordan and LeBron conversation is like decades long?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody interviewed both of them yet in the same room.
And that's an interesting dynamic, man. But we ain't gonna dwell on that. So you have a life changing.
I got you.
Yeah. Well, no, but I think the important part of that is that a part of communication, because you're saying what you said previously or prior, that you're learning communication and different styles of communication, and you're learning conflict resolution. You're learning how to mediate, and you're learning how to separate yourself from having to choose a side, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm mom, I'm with you, dad, I'm with you, Muslims are with you, Christians are with you, but don't make me have to choose a side. Like, and I think as kids, right, especially in our culture, we struggle with being able to identify that we have little to limited or no knowledge or enough information to be able to make a real sound decision about who is actually right. We just know that we don't want this type of atmosphere, and we don't want to be in this type of environment because it's not conducive for the love and peace that we want. And so you did band. I want to ask you, so in concert band, what was the instrument that you did?
Man, I played a tenor saxophone and baritone saxophone. I believe that's what it was. It was one of them saxophones that was about tall as me. I wasn't good. I wasn't good. I was just good enough to stay, learn some discipline. You know what I mean? I wasn't good at all. Now I could sight read real good in band though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I used to sight read because my band director, Dr. D, he's Dr. D now, but we used to call him Mr. D at Cedar Grove. He would give us dollars if we did really good at sight reading. And I really wanted an extra slice of pizza at lunch. So I focused and got my discipline up and prayed. And I used to sight read like a genius and got that dollar and got my slice. So,
we do concert band, we do football, and life changes. Now it's getting ready time to graduate, man. And so I ask most people, like when you're getting to that junior, senior year, man, like how do you wind up at Georgia Southern? Why is Georgia Southern the school of your choice?
Man, this is the funniest thing that a lot of people may not know about Big Chris or quote unquote Dr. Pugh. I hold Big Chris in higher regard, by the way. I'm
glad.
Because the people that love me, people that love me gave me that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been a status dude. It's all about, the action. You know what I mean? Like Marshawn Lynch, I'm about the action boss, right? But I will tell you this, man. I was trying to get to college just so I could help my mother pay with bills. Parents got divorced. Both of them made it out alive, thank God. A lot of people don't get to say that, you know what I mean? So they got divorced. They left the divorce healthy, physically. And then I just knew that, in a single parent household, I didn't want my mother to be footing the bill by herself, One of the reasons why I've been mentioning manhood mindset is because, when you are a boy in the home trying to do a man's job, it can give you split personalities. That's what a lot of people may not understand. These young boys who are the only male in the house are men and boys simultaneously. They have the responsibility of men, but you want them to have the status of a boy. And naturally, they're supposed to act out because those two lifestyles, they contradict each other. One of them has authority, one of them has obedience. But they expect young boys to be authoritative and obedient at the same time. It doesn't work like that, right? So I was trying to be the man in the house, trying to find out ways we can get money. And I wanted to use football to do it. But I love football, but that doesn't mean you're the best at something because you love it, right? I was a big dude, did what I did. I ended up getting accepted to Southern University down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A lot of people don't know that. Me and my homeboy, one of my best friends, not only my best friend, like a brother to me, Brian Wright out of Ellenwood. We were both about to go to Southern University. And then all of a sudden, one morning I woke up, man, I couldn't even walk. So I ended up having an injury in my knee that I sustained, I don't know, early in life. And it just came to a screeching halt. Next thing you know, I had surgery, unsuccessful, woke up with my mother's side on the side of my bed holding my hand and like, what's going on? What's going on? And she just had this look in her face like she didn't know how to explain it. She was like, everything will be all right. And I said, well, I thought everything's all right now. And next thing you know, she said, you won't be able to play football no more. I was like, I didn't know what to say. So this is what a lot of people may not understand. A lot of kids, especially in the 80s and 90s, we were told that 1 out of 3, they used to give us random statistics. If you don't get out of your neighborhood, you're going to be dead in jail, right? So we equate something that we put all of our faith in something to get us out of there so we won't be dead in jail. So as soon as I heard I couldn't play football, guess what the 2 things I thought I was going to be?
Dead in jail.
Dead in jail. So a lot of people don't understand the reason why people are hustling because of the narrative that young boys are getting. A lot of people may not understand that young boys are born on trial. You have to prove that you are a good person. A lot of people dehumanize before they even get conceived. A lot of people don't know that. Wow. So when you keep hearing that one side is afraid of you and the other side that may even look like you already doubt you and don't even believe in you, you have this complex going on that you constantly have to prove that you deserve to be alive every day. And sometimes when you have to prove that you're supposed to be alive every day, you end up living fast just so people can leave you alone. You know what I mean? So If you're out there hustling, if you're making money, hopefully you'll not be harassed. And what I found out, a lot of people, including me and a lot of people my age, we were trying to prove that we were worth staying alive, even if we had to die early. So it was.
I'm sorry. I also think too, like, again, I was having a similar conversation. The boy, man, I didn't put it in that terminology, but I equated it to the fact that I think I was talking to a friend just about relationships, right? And why men act a certain way, and especially if they're raised with women and women only, or they spend time with women, they have that, you call it like disobedience complex. I'm like, when you're used to having to kind of like either make them feel good or prove a point or make them proud, and or like when they give like, you need to do this and you shouldn't do this because now they don't want you to be like the dad who ain't around or who left or whatever, and you don't point. And so when you have a desire, when you have goals and ambitions, then you start doing things outside of what it is that they want, and that junk turns into now you're lying for no reason. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to do these different things because you want to be you, but you also want to be what they want you to be at the same time.
Yep.
And so I'm like, it was crazy because I'm like, man, I'm on your side, friend, but at the same point, I get to a degree why he is the way that he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that mama's boy complex, man, is horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I told him, I said, man, I think there are a lot of men who are actually really trying to fight to be themselves or be something to somebody, but years and years of being stuck in this box of mama's boy and mama's son and mama's man. That is a hard thing to come from out of. You know what I'm saying? And then you wind up running into friends who accept this type of thing, or they're pulling you out a certain way, and then you find women who are like mama. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So you get through that, and once you realize life is really about to change, there's no football the dynamic of, man, how I'm gonna help mama now, Georgia Southern.
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
go.
Now this is the thing. I was blessed to have a mother that didn't put me in charge of her expectations.
Mm.
I was blessed. She never was like, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Now, the only thing that, and I need to say this, man, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a mother that was supportive and stepped out of her emotions to do what was best for me. Because after that, and I'm the youngest. So you know how the baby is. You think the baby's supposed to be with you. Man, after I found out I couldn't play football, I went to a deep, dark space. I don't even know if it was depression or not. I just know it was dark. So my mother, she said one day she walked past my door and I was on the phone with somebody. She said, I don't remember what you said, but she said, what you said was so dark and so full of sadness that as a parent, if I didn't do something to get you out of Ellenwood, I might have lost you.
Wow.
And I was like, really? She said, yeah. She said whatever I said was so hurtful that she wiped it out of her mind and just started applying to schools for me. One of the schools she applied to, Georgia Southern University. That was the one I had the Hope Scholarship. Remember, I was going to Southern in Baton Rouge. I was going to go down there to play football. Now I can't even try out to even walk on, let alone get a scholarship. Right. And that's out of state tuition. So she applied to Georgia Southern, had Hope Scholarship. Remember, I just got off the surgery table, so I couldn't walk. So my mom just was straight gangster with it. She was like, you ain't have no sore session or nothing. I had the surgery happen in July. That's when everybody having sore. I found out I'm going to Georgia Southern the week before school started. So my mom got my sister and my niece, Keisha and Jessica. They got in the car, packed up all my stuff, and just drove straight to Georgia Southern. We didn't know where it was at. I ain't never heard of it.
Wow.
So she drove me there. She put me in the Union, put me on one of them couches, gave me some fries. She said, I'll be back in a few hours. She went and got my classes, went and found a apartment, and she came back with some keys and my schedule. And she said, everything's set up. We're going to move all your stuff in. Me, your sister, and your niece going to go back and forth to Atlanta, get the rest of your stuff. She was like, but I'm going to have to go to work tomorrow. So you know where everything's at, hopefully. And if you don't, we're going to get you some help.
Shout out to
her main goal was, I'm serious, bro. I'm telling you. But see, that's the thing. Yeah, I had my fair share of adversity, but I also had the support. So like when people keep asking me what kind of life you had, the only word I keep thinking of is balance, bro. It was balance. Was it hard? Yeah. Did I have support? Yes. So I'm surrounded by a lot of kids and a lot of other people who didn't have that support. That's the reason why I know how deep it is to have a village, and I'm surrounded by people who didn't have one.
Bro.
And I had to witness it.
Man, one of the things I want to highlight right now, man, is one, to be able to acknowledge that you were in this dark space, but not to identify it as depression. That's very key. That's very key, because nowadays everything is depression. But I think we need those moments, man. I think to be able to have a different level of respect for life, right? Or for that hope, man. You really get to see that, man. But the balance part, I had a conversation with one of my aunts, and we have never had this in-depth of a conversation before, but when I just heard her story and what she did and is doing to get to where she needed to be, man, with a little help to minimal help, you know what I'm saying? To like, yo, I got to get it on my own because I can't necessarily wait. And that balance, man, where people like yourself and my aunt and others who don't spend a whole lot of unnecessary time on the adverse side. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really value the good time. Like you get a little good, but then you gotta go back to the bad. So Georgia Southern, Mom got you all set up. Everything is good and straight. Let's talk first year experience, GSU.
Man.
Healing after healing. Let's go.
Bro, so I'm in the middle of Georgia Southern, can't walk, on painkillers. Right? Now this is very interesting, and this is why I found out, because it's not it's not about talent all the time. Sometimes it's just about the truth, right? Sometimes people don't understand, no matter how much you learned and earned, if people don't give you the truth, it can still hinder your progress. You know what I mean? Sometimes they can make you work hard in a place you don't have to work hard in and waste your time. And I think wasted time is one of the most egregious things you can do to people who can't print off time, is the wasted time they have, right?
Mm.
So I'm going down the Union on crutches, going to go to my apartment. A lady came out and said, "Hey, have you taken your college placement exam yet?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what? You talking about the SAT? Yeah, I got accepted. We're good." She said, No, you got to take a college placement exam." And I was like, where the study guide? I'm finna take it now. So meanwhile, I'm on painkillers. I don't know where I'm at. Now I'm finna go take a test. Man, I had just got one of them 400 milligram, whatever they gave me from the doctor's office. And I'm just in there, the words moving around. They're looking like SpaghettiOs. Everything I read, the cartoon pop up in my mind. I'm talking to the cartoon. She was like, "Shh, you gotta be quiet." I'm like, "Shh, I'm high." So, you know, please be quiet. I'm on painkillers. So, I don't like your voice. It makes me itch. So nobody had to tell people, man. It was weird for me. So took the test because I just needed to be over, right? And they got, after the test, they ran my little score. They said, "Oh, you need learning support." And I said, "No, that was study hall for. I don't need." I was like, "What you talking about?" So they switched my schedule around. My mother didn't even know it. Put me in learning support, and those learning support classes only count towards hope, but they don't count towards graduation. So I took a test that took my graduation time back, right? That I wasn't even ready for. And I found out later on that those college placement exams, you can safely opt out of those. And I didn't even know it. And a lot of people don't know is, and when I was in that taking that college placement exam, I seen a lot of folks that look like me in there.
Wow.
And we was all in there taking that test. And I was wondering, I was like, why would we need a college placement if we're accepted? What is the reason behind it, right? Because now I just realized, it was the first time I found out that school is different from education. School is about status. School is about class. That's the reason why they say go to class, because they finna show you what class you're finna be in for the rest of your life. You got low class, middle class, high class, all of these different things. And now we got grades next to our names that put a value system on us that a lot of us don't even know about. That's the reason why when somebody get a bad grade, all of a sudden their moves go all out of whack. Because now that number is about to affect the type of resources or access to progress they get, or lack thereof, right? So after I took that test, I had learning support. That first semester, I had an A, 2 Bs, and an F. I had an A in GSU 1210 class, you know, the intro to GSU. The only thing we got to do is play spades, right, and drink orange juice, right? So I had an A in that, because spades and orange juice, we like this. So my next class, I had a history class, and I had learning support, reading, learning support, English. I had an A, 2 Bs, and an F. What else GPA you think I had? An A, 2 Bs, and an F. A, 2 Bs, and an F. Guess what? My GPA freshman year, A, 2 Bs, and an F, I had a 1.0 GPA.
How? The F was in the biggest
Both
class?
of those learning support classes don't count towards graduation.
You had the
So I had
learning support class.
Yep. So guess what? It got all my effort, but no credit. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was time wasted on a test that I could have opted out of. Now I got a 1.0 GPA, and it could have balanced it out, because if you really look at it, if it was weighted regularly, I probably would have had like a 2.75 or something like that, A, 2 Bs, and an F. Might have been like a 2.5, 2.6, something like that. You were not on academic probation. But now if you're on academic probation, now you got to dig yourself out of a hole, and I still can't even walk yet. Oh, by the way, I was on crutches for 10 months. So the adversity at Georgia Southern, man, when I talk about fairness, I ain't never seen it. I've seen blessings, I've seen help, but fairness, I ain't never seen it.
Well, that's crazy to me, man. How do you come to the school on Hope Scholarship? Obviously, your grades are high enough and well enough to be accepted into a school like Georgia Southern, that if your grades weren't well enough, you start at East Georgia College. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
That don't even make sense to even be asked that question, man, and to even. Oh, that's crazy. You should go on the national news and tell everybody what GSU. I'm playing. Yeah.
It's
So
about that money because I tell people anything with a budget is a business.
yeah,
It's
that's
big
for
business
sure.
to make sure people stay at the school for a long period of time. It's big business.
Man, so I'm gonna jump up so we can get to the business. But
Yeah.
before that, man, again, I
Yeah.
say I'm trying because in my mind I'm trying to see if I remember the question, man. But I do remember Big Chris with the braids, and
Yeah.
we were there and we were about to get ready to have. I can't even think of the name of what we even called this event, but the segments were doing
Mhm.
it, and
Was it a comedy show?
it might have been the comedy show, but I can't remember what
Yeah.
it was, but that was the very first time that
Yeah.
we I think we like really had like some formal stuff. And I think I saw you around, you was doing your thing, and you came up there, and I was introduced to Big Chris, the comedian. When did you know? I mean, because obviously you've been funny since, hey ma, it sounded like he said this, and so obviously we people who are funny know at an early age that you're funny. But I think there was a time
Mhm.
when I thought, I wouldn't say that you were thinking that you might have pursued the lane of
Mhm.
comedic affluence. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when was that for you, when you like, you know what, I want to do this, and when did you say, okay, let me kind of curtail it?
Well, I put like this. I was making people laugh in middle and high school for money. That was the beginning of my comedy career. I didn't even know it, but it got to the point where I bet Chris can make you laugh, and then they would be having side bets. Then people would be making money without me, and I was like, no, 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 let me bet you that I can make you laugh.
Right.
I was like, I ain't finna just be cracking all these jokes and stay broke. So that's when I realized I was like, hey, if I'm making people laugh, y'all got you got paid. I ain't finna just have all this pizza not being eaten, and y'all enjoying your life. It always go back to that pizza, but the extra slice had to be bought. So,
Right.
but no, it was to the point where I found when I started seeing people crying, laughing when I wasn't laughing. That's
Mm,
when I knew something was going on because it was some stuff I was saying. I was so serious. And remember, my childhood, I saw a lot of sadness. I was around a lot of good times, but the sad parts were heavy. You know what I mean? So the stuff I used to say to people, it'll be so unbelievable to them. They thought I was joking, but they were laughing at how straight my face was. Is because it wasn't funny to me. I was just telling you what happened. So, and also too, man, when you're a big kid, some people want to get their stripes by saying they could, fight you or kill you. I had people pull guns on me, pull knives and stuff like that, just to get their stripes or try to prove they was the man. And what I would do is I would crack a real joke real quick and then make everybody chuckle, laugh, and then I switch the subject real quick because usually a lot of people don't understand is when your brain notices that you're laughing, it can release endorphins and dopamine and all of that good stuff. And when your brain is releasing those chemicals, those hormones, you can now steer the conversation. That's the reason why comedians can keep you in line with different subject matters if they got you laughing. Laughter
right.
makes people pay attention. Even if you ain't laughing, if you get somebody else laughing, you'll start thinking instead of reacting. So I find out if I can make people laugh, I can make them calm down and at least think about what they were doing. Because this one dude was like, one day I was about to get jumped by a whole bunch of people. And one dude was like, man, we finna get you, big boy. I said, whoever the first one is, I'm gonna just fall forward and crack all your bones. So I'm gonna lose. I said, I'm gonna lose the fight, but the first one, I'm gonna fall on you. And the more they stomp, that weight is gonna crush on you too. So who's first? Somebody just started. So like, so they were like, what? They thought I was crazy, and I said, no, I'm not crazy. I'm letting y'all know this. Whatever y'all finna do, it ain't nobody's gonna win. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get up before every one of you because one of y'all think y'all could pick me up, and you may use the bathroom on yourself.
Bro, what would make somebody want to fight or harm you, man?
Oh, you'd be surprised. See, remember, it ain't personal. It's a difference between uh, um, people who hate and people who just hurt. People who hurt other people. It don't have to be personal,
Mm,
And sometimes people, kindness. Some people look at kindness for weakness, and they look at people who don't bother people as the target. Sometimes, that's just real life. You know, some people, why are people hunting deer? You ain't never seen a deer go up and just bite somebody's arm off. People that hunt deer because that's what it is. You know, people like the easy target. It's less work. So, and also too, if it's less work, if I ain't violent and he bigger, you can probably get some clout for that. I don't know. I never did interview him. I always wanted to know. I was like, why you always trying to fight me? It's weird. You know, we were just at the playground earlier. Now you acting brand new because that girl got long hair. It's weird. So but, yeah, it was in front of the girl. Now I'll kill you. We'd be like, oh, okay, man. You know, I see you at church Sunday. So, but no, man, it was just people weren't thinking, you know, and like a lot of people who were at odds with each other, man, as they're adults, man, amnesia is real. They don't really even know why they were mad at somebody. Yeah. They wasn't really mad at me because I didn't do nothing to them, but some people decided to do certain things. And a lot of people don't know this. My stature, you know, if body language is real, I don't know what I'm saying to people when I walk in the room. I don't know how people feel, right? And a lot of people may not know this. And when I really knew it was real is at Cedar Road one day, we were playing a rival school, Towers, in the ATL, right? Big rival school. The day that really changed my life and I realized that you can be criminalized without even moving your mouth or your body or doing anything is when the police were telling people to go home. But, you know, my mom was finna come pick me up, right? And one of the police officers was like, you need to go home before you get in trouble. And I'm just sitting up there like, okay, I believe you, but I'm waiting on her to pick me up. The gang got out a little bit early. She's on her way. We didn't have cell phones back then, right? So he came up to me. I went up there. I said, all right, let me get out of his way. I went up there, didn't see a car. It's at night. It started raining. So I said, man, I ain't finna just sit out here and get soaking wet. I come back down there in the little shed. The police officer said, I've been watching you all night. You one of them thugs or whatever he was talking about. And he roughed me up and slammed the back of my head next to a brick wall. Blood was going out and everything. And it happened in front of I ain't gonna say the whole school, but it happened in front of enough people where people were like, man, what in the world is going on here? And at that moment, I was like, man, I'm finna die at school out of all places. Like I'm finna get killed here. And a lot of, before everybody think about it, man, you know, this was DeKalb County. We was in DeKalb County, and the person who did that, their skin tone looked like mine. You know what I mean? It wasn't even no racist stuff. It was abuse of power at the moment. And I think he was thinking that he could get stripes, or he made an assumption. And then lo and behold, man, it was a blessing. I had enough friends who were still there who surrounded police were like, no, that ain't the one. And one of my homeboys was like, no, bro, he in the bad, he lame, he don't do nothing. And I was like, thank you, but don't say I'm lame. Like, you know, please don't say that part. Just
while you're gushing and bleeding, blood is everywhere in your mouth. Like, look,
blood is everywhere.
Look, I can die right now, but I don't want to die lame. I don't want to die lame.
Yeah, don't call me lame, because you know some girl think I'm cool right now. Finally, you know. So he bleeding, girl. I like him. Your
clout went up, and it just started to.
But the clout went up.
It started to. The
clout went up,
bro. It was so
right, but not. That's what actually happened to kind of open my eyes, man. The reason why somebody want to do certain things, why does anybody want to do anything? Only thing you got to do is have the right amount of pain, the right amount of confusion. All type of catastrophe can go down.
Wow. So one of the most important parts, I would assume, right? They say you shouldn't do that, but I would assume is when those of us who do decide to join Greek letter organizations, man. I can't tell you no lie, bro. That was probably one of the most disappointing times of my life at Georgia Southern University when I seen you out there in that purple and gold. I was devastated. I took it personal. I was like, there's no way in the world he did our show. He's cool with me, and he becomes a Q. There's no way possible that this could happen. There's no way possible. Man, everyone has their reasoning. The cliche question, man, why Omega Psi Phi?
Man, I'm gonna tell you some wild stuff. When I first got to Georgia Southern, bro, I did not know what Greek life was. I didn't know what it was. Now, when I got there at Georgia Southern in 1999, Sigmas was everywhere. I'm talking about you couldn't even go 30 feet without seeing the Sigma, right? I had neighbors that were Sigmas. All of my friends were Sigmas. People was in the pool hall. People that lit, like people were bouncing. Big AC was bouncing. Like I knew all of them. Adrian was
Right.
my next door neighbor.
Right.
They used to live with Chuck and all of them. Like, so everybody was cool. I just didn't know what it was. I just thought it was like a whole bunch of people who decided to dress in the simultaneous wear, like in the same way, to hang with each other. Like, man, y'all are really loyal to each other. This is nice. That's all I knew. Then also too, remember I was hosting Gorilla Thriller before I even pledged. So
Yeah.
I was hosting BSA, Gorilla, Black Action, Gorilla Thriller, the Sigma Comedy Show. It was just all type of stuff all over the place, right? I just looked at people as people, right? But one thing I didn't know until I started researching it, I actually applied for scholarships in high school with Omega Psi Phi. And I remember getting turned down for a scholarship, right? This a lot of people may not know. I got turned down for a scholarship from Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I still didn't know who they were, but it was a store up there on Boulder Crest named John Bargain Corner on Boulder Crest in East Atlanta. The Qs will always be out there handing out canned goods to the people. I remember seeing them growing up, but I didn't know who they were. I just thought they were the Lakers in town playing the Hawks or the Vikings playing the Falcons. I was like, man, they are so nice to go all the way. They're a long way from the dome. Like, I didn't know who they were, but it was just out there doing stuff, and I was like, man, they're gonna be too tired to play the game. Go Lakers. But when I started putting two and two together, when I got down to Georgia Southern, down in 2004, that was the first time I seen Omega Psi Phi in a probate. Didn't even know what it was, right? When I saw the probate, a lot of my friends crossed. A lot of people that I knew crossed, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is all right. And then I looked at it and put two and two together. I said, y'all the people that turned me down for that scholarship. Yeah, okay, and you the same people that were giving us canned goods in Ellenwood.
Balance.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, so now I'm sitting up there like, who are these people? Man, I started digging and digging and digging and started looking at the principles, started looking at the history, started looking at anything that I can get my hands on. And I found out that the principles lined up to what I've been doing ever since I was a kid.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't the fact that I didn't even compare with anything else because I really didn't know what Greek life was. I wasn't interested in Greek life. I was interested in the principles. Because right now people ask me, you Greek? I was like, nah, I'm me. The letters are Greek, but we speak in English, and my mama black. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. But I was always interested in the principles and how things were going about. When I found out that Bill Cosby, Michael Jordan, but the thing that got me was Benjamin Mays and Carter G. Woodson. That's what threw me. Because when I found out that Benjamin Mays, who mentored Martin Luther King's father was a Q, Carter G. Woodson is the reason why we're digging in our history anyway, because he found all the history that was hidden. And so we talking about the month that we so proud of. I'm like, hold on, these people are highly involved in this. I'm like, hold on, what's going on here? And I just kept researching, and I was like, man, I'm already doing this. I might as well do this with other people and have some type of foundation, some type of support system. And that was it. I didn't join it for any clout or nothing like that. I already had friends. People already knew me. I didn't care about being popular, but I didn't need friends. I needed something functional, if that makes any sense. No, I wanted something with some structure in it. I just wanted something with some structure in it so I can be around like-minded men who were focused on doing something. You know what I mean? Because when you're around a lot of people who don't have nothing to do, some gonna have them. So when I said, okay, they believe in scholarship, they believe in manhood, which I believe in, perseverance. I've been through a lot. Uplift. I always like lifting people up from how they feel bad. I always like making them laugh or giving them something. Man, it was common sense at that point. So nothing else is not. I have no disrespect to anybody else, but it got to the point, man, I was already living the fraternity before I even knew it existed.
Right.
That's just what I tell people. So, and it wasn't like I deserved it. It was a perfect match.
No, definitely, man. And when you hear the story told in that manner and unfold, man, it makes the most sense. You said it earlier at the beginning of the show. If y'all just tuning in, man, this live with us, your boy Wiggles. We got Dr. Pugh in the building with me, man, aka Big Chris. It's your boy Wiggles, man. I got him just for a little bit, but honestly, I feel like this has probably been like one of the most incredible interviews because I feel like we've
sure.
actually talked about your work in talking about you. You know what I'm saying?
Real,
And talking
real.
about you, bringing man. But what I was gonna say was is you talked about it earlier, but like everybody doesn't belong together, and everybody doesn't, you know what I'm saying, have to be in the
Not
same
at all.
arena. And that's the thing that I can appreciate. Like I said, jovial moment. Like, oh man, Chris, how did Chris do this to me? What is
Yeah.
to shake the globe with this guy, man? But
People was pissed.
yeah, I was like, what the freak is happening? But I think for you though, man, in every organization, every
Mhm.
organization has their time, and that
Oh
time
yeah.
comes with a a person or a people, and that
Hmm.
era right there, man, you guys,
Hmm.
it was crazy, man. I
It was just
think
live.
man, I think every organization was getting like a really good cream of the crop, man. But you guys really,
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, that the group of guys that came in that time with y'all, man, it was really dynamic, man.
Hmm.
And y'all made us
Oh
work.
yeah.
Y'all
Oh
made us
yeah.
work a lot, like
Hey man. And
a
I'm
lot.
still, the thing is, the work ain't done. Like right now, I'm just glad I was afforded the opportunity to stay working. I ended up advising my chapter down at the zoo, man, for about 10 years. And, you know, I was advising and I was running the minority advisement program at the Georgia Southern. So that mentorship helped me more than it even helped the kids I was mentoring. What a lot of people don't understand is the best way to learn is to teach. The best way to learn is to teach. Well, you can't get information unless you share information. And the more information I shared, so it was almost like some people were like, man, you know, how many people in your mentoring program? I said, well, I got 500 mentors. They were like, you mean mentees? I said, no, all 500 of them teach me something new each and every year. Because they telling me something about their life. They're telling me what they experiencing. Man, they were telling me the stuff they were going through on campus. Trey, I swear, bro, don't get me wrong, when undergrad, I was going through it too. But
Right.
man, when some of them kids was telling me what was going on in them classrooms, the slick comments on the campus from some of the instructors, just the mean looks, and they ain't know where to go, and they ain't have no safe place. Man, I got passionate about this stuff, man. A lot of
Right.
people were like, why you still in the borough? It's because I listen to folks. You know what I'm saying? I used to. I'm not better than nobody because it's been people who have much larger impact to Georgia Southern than I ever will, like Dr. Jallo, Dr. Lewis, Consuelo Ward. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who was doing their thing. You know what I mean? I was just a alumni that I saw it as an undergrad, and I was like, man, if I leave here knowing how it is, I just don't want to be no hypocrite. And plus, I got the knowledge to help them.
Right.
Not only the knowledge, but I got the experiences being one of them, and I still got some influence. So why not use it to build a bridge to the people who got to deal with this stuff? And matter of fact, the generation now got way more distractions than we ever had. Way
Absolutely.
more distractions. It's
Absolutely.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I just say this, man. Like, thank you for allowing me to say that because a lot of people don't know a lot of personal information. Honestly, I don't know all the personal information because a lot of people watch me grow up. I didn't watch myself. I was in the middle of the experience. But if I sometimes, in order for me to really know how my childhood was, I got to sit down and let people tell me what they saw. I mean, I got a cousin Aaron right now. He tell me stuff that he saw in me, and I was like, "You got to be lying." He said, "No, bro. I've been around you for the longest. You just don't know it, but I've been watching." So I tell anybody this, like, it's hard to talk about yourself because you didn't. We're not witnesses to ourselves. We just in the experience. We in the picture. But you got a lot of people outside of us. They can see the whole frame. They can see what's in front of you, behind you, above you, and up under you. And if you really want to get to know yourself, ask the people who've been around you watching you. And I'm gonna tell you some wild stuff that I found out too. Friends and family will take care of you, but your enemies will educate you about who you really are. That's the reason why I tell people you ain't got to hang around everybody, but you do have to pay attention because your enemy's been watching you closely and they know your strengths and weaknesses. So instead of just getting your space, man, have a dialogue with your enemy. You ain't got to hang out, you ain't got to high five or hug, but you do need to know what they know because they got some of the keys to your next level in life.
Bro, next level in life, man. When you're about to get ready to graduate,
Hmm.
First of all, I didn't even ask because I can't recall really. What was your major? And when you were graduated, did you know what you were about to do? We kind of got a glimpse, like you didn't leave because of
Mm-hmm.
kids, man. But you're about to
Mm-hmm.
graduate. What you gonna do? How do you get to where you are? Because they can't see this, but 20 from 2009, leaders in cross cultural communication, the leadership conference at
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, all the way up to 2022, the art of listening and giving feedback. Yuba College, Los Angeles, California. You've been teaching and learning, speaking, educating, consulting, coaching people from obviously from childhood to now, but from
Mm-hmm.
2009 to 2022, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a quick, and when I say
I
quick, I
got you.
mean you gotta talk fast, but a quick
Yeah, I got you.
and of how this roadmap is laid out, man.
Got you. So briefly, if I could sum it up, is I found out that there was a big difference between school and education. School was the sport associated with what we know, right? A GPA cannot give you your purpose. It can just give you a number that somebody can try their best to dictate your value. That's what I had to find out. So, an undergrad, I had over 7 majors, bro. 7. I went when I got yes, a lot of people don't know this. I got kicked out of Georgia Southern academic exclusion. I went back home to Atlanta and Decatur and threw papers in the morning for the AJC, Atlanta Journal Constitution. And my uncle Harold, God rest his soul, he was a person that gave me my job to help me pay bills. Because I got kicked out of Georgia Southern right after I signed the lease in UP. So I was paying rent down here and working in Atlanta. It pushed me to a whole nother level. So I had to work AJC. I was doing Verizon Wireless at the call center, and I was selling ADT security systems to the point I was so tired I fell asleep on the road. And one day when I fell asleep on the road, I almost lost my life. And I was like, man, I really want to go back and try this stuff. But just because I got kicked out doesn't mean it ain't for me. And I read this book called Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. If anybody can hear my voice, there's a book called Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren that I read when I was 21 years old. And that book got me to where I'm at right now, right? That book basically let me know that a lot of the things that I was going to do and I was blessed to have the talent to do, a lot of them were presenting themselves to me, but we were trying to make other people proud or make people feel like we were the man or the woman or whatever. We were trying our best to get this status so we can be accepted, but we rejected our purpose. Sometimes being accepted in the world is how we reject our identity.
Mm.
Right. So when I read that Purpose Driven Life, I came right back and went to the FYE department and said, I want to go back to school. This is what got me here. And I'm gonna try to say it real quick. A lady looked at it, she said, come on in. And this I already been out of Georgia Southern for 2 years. I went in there and gave her my Eagle ID. She pulled up my GPA and guess what she said? She said, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think you college material. I really think you're wasting your time. Let me just look up some technical schools, or you can probably learn a trade. Now I know people who learn a trade make 175 grand a year, but they chose that. What she was doing, she was bothering my free will, and that's a no-no to me. I chose to come back to school because I said that's what I was going to do, and I
Mm.
wanted to put that smile back on my mother's face. And wasn't nobody going to stop me from doing it. So when she said this ain't for you, I said, well, frankly, ma'am, I didn't ask for your opinion. I asked for a RAN number. That's a difference. so she gave me my RAN number. I changed my major to comm arts, started studying because I wanted to be just like Ryan Cameron at B103. I was Hot 97.5 at the time. I wanted to be like Ryan Cameron because I knew I had a personality. I just needed to be in a place where people can see it. So
Right.
radio personality, I can uplift people, make them laugh, and educate them, and I can be exposed to as many people as possible. So I wanted to be in radio. When I went through undergrad, I saw so many people suffering and a lot of people dropping out of school because they equated a GPA with their self-worth. I knew I had to go into school counseling, right? So when I got into school counseling, that helped me because I needed counseling because of my childhood, but I didn't know how to get it. So I had to major in it in order to get the counseling that I needed. And my therapist right now is my former professor, Dr. Leon Spencer. He's still my therapist to this day.
Wow.
And I'm in therapy. I can't give therapy without experiencing it. That's the reason why if anybody going to get therapy, your therapist need to be in therapy because they don't need to be detached to what it feels like to be in therapy. You need somebody who's constantly going so they know how to not to take your humanity away. After school counseling, I got hired at Georgia Southern running the MSc. And what a lot of people don't know is I advised over 11 student organizations at that time in that span. From 2009 to 2015, 11 student organizations I was advisor. Sometimes it was simultaneous, sometimes we were rotating around. But I was helping so many people get what they need and giving them the game that we had this camaraderie. And that's when everybody just started, connecting, and we just started networking. And then at the end of the day, there was a ceiling that I hit in my profession where politics gets involved. And sometimes when there's politics involved, if people can't promote you, you got to go promote yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people all the time, man, this world will not give you your assignment. You received your assignment at birth. You're supposed to do your assignment in front of the world, not waiting for the world to give it to you. So when I saw it, I looked at it and I saw this program called Curriculum Studies, where you study the politics of education and you study the politics of warfare that is hidden by the education system, right? Man, when I studied that, that was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I ended up writing a dissertation called Humanity in the Black, applying counter-racist logic with comedy and hip hop. So I was writing about Dick Gregory, Outkast, Goody Mob, David Banner, Dave Chappelle, Paul Mooney. I was writing about all of them, but I also threw in Carter G. Woodson, Neely Fuller, Francis Cress Wilson, Frederick Douglass. Like I was throwing them all in there because all of them are hip hop. They all have a cadence. They all have punchlines. They were doing a lot of different things, and I put it all in some work, man. And so all of that really, and that was just a short version, man. There's so much stuff I'm living out, but man, I had the right amount of adversity. I had a right amount of hills to climb, man. But I had a lot of people help me build bridges that I had to cross. And that hill, man, I had a lot of people reaching their hand out to pull me up. And that's where I'm at with it. That's a lot of my experiences that got me here.
Including laughter in the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about that. Talk about that. There are a couple of these things, man, I want to talk about. Talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Please do. So laughter in the workplace, what a lot of people don't understand is corporate America is where your soul and your ideas can die easily. I'm gonna say it one more time. Corporate America is where a lot of people have their souls and their laughter and their ideas go to die because you sit up there and try your best and you don't even see anything compensated with it. And then all of a sudden your morale get low, and then you got a lot of people who keep going to corporate America and can't even get out of bed each and every day. It's because it's just rigorous, but it's not vigorous, if that makes any sense. So I say laughter in the workplace, that's how you hold your humanity intact, especially if you're surrounded by evil. That's what a lot of people don't get. A lot of people are harassed at these jobs. And if you don't even allow laughter in the workplace, regardless if they allow it or not, you need to laugh to let the world know you're still a human being and they cannot take your humanity. Because honestly, humanity, the key word to humanity is humor. We're one of the rare species that can actually laugh, not experience happiness, but an outward expression of laughter is specifically a human trait, right? So that laughter in the workplace, remember, the quickest way to let people know they didn't take your spirit and your soul is to show them you got one. And the best way to show people you got one is to enjoy your life, regardless of what they do to you. So when that job gets a little stressful, when they get real, disrespectful, when they start harassing you, man, show all them teeth, show them all, and let them know that whoever didn't make you cannot break you. You will never break something you didn't make. We come from something way more powerful than a job. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we received
sure.
our purpose. We received our purpose and our assignment in life without their permission. And so a lot of people think that their assignment is based off permission they get in corporate America or people who they hold in high regard. They were not there when you were conceived. They don't know what you're capable of. They just know what they can take from you. So I always tell people this, man, laugh. It don't have to be funny for you to laugh. Laugh because it activates your brain and it'll calm your emotions. I tell people this all the time, especially young men who can't control their emotions. I said, before you make a decision, you need to go somewhere and laugh or cry. And they were like, why? I said, because usually people will laugh and cry after they made a horrendous decision, but don't nothing be funny.
How to create inner peace.
Oh yeah. Inner peace comes from the elimination of external expectations.
Boy, come on, man.
So I tell people this: if you want to stop being disappointed, the number one reason why we're disappointed is because we appoint the wrong damn people. We hiring and promoting the people that mean us no good, and we constantly get disappointed is because we keep holding them up to disappoint us. Put it like this: I tell people all the time, if you complaining that somebody ain't called you, why did you promote them to be the person in charge of showing you love in the first place? You got plenty of people who try to show you love, but you're not looking at them. You're looking at the person who don't want to give it, but you gave them the position and they don't even want it. Why would you hire and promote the people that don't even want to work for you and with you? That's the number one reason I see a lot of people are feeling sadness and disappointment is because they're constantly looking for love from the people who ain't got it. It goes for parents. It goes for significant others, siblings. I don't care who it is, organization members, people still trying to be accepted and loved by people who ain't got it for you. And they're not supposed, that's not their job. Everybody ain't supposed to love you. But you just got to acknowledge where the love coming from and feed. Put like this, I always tell people, man, water the plants instead of the concrete. That's how you get inner peace. Water what feeds you. Don't water what's cold and hard and can hurt you.
Give me them hearts and them lights right now. I usually don't communicate with live, man. I try to keep it formal, right? But nah.
No, man, this ain't formal, right? Let's keep it real.
That's incredible, man. I'm gonna pick a few more, man. Internal conflict versus internal growth. Internal conflict versus internal growth.
Yeah. So internal conflict, what a lot of people may not understand is there's always going to be conflict where there's contact. Anytime when you make contact with anything, it's going to conflict because they may be going in different directions. That doesn't mean that they're enemies or it's evil. It just means they need to meet. And if they're not supposed to be going in the same direction, you need to at least have a conversation or a plan of how to move forward, right? You ever heard when somebody said, man, me and this person always bumping heads? I said, you need to make sure you keep bumping heads with that person. They were like, why? We supposed to all get along. I said, BS. No, we ain't. I said, why we need to all get along when we're different people? We need to have conflict, but a lot of people don't know how to have conflict. That's the reason why they go to war. Conflict without communication is warfare. Conflict with communication is growth. That's the difference. So it's a lot of people I hope I never get along with because we're two different people. We value different things. We need to make sure who we are not, so we make sure we never sacrifice who we really are.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think that bumping of the heads is what allows for a certain level of validity, self-awareness and self-validity, right? Because even with that comparative interest, you need those type of conversations, man, even to kind of not get stuck in like we all agree. Because if we all agree, we're gonna move at a certain pace, at a certain speed, at a certain level, and in a certain direction that may not be for us. But then when you get an opposing opinion, sometimes it kind of slows down just to give you that surety of if this is where I'm supposed to be. That's incredible, man. Humanism and intellectual tradition.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of people may not, and right now, posthumanism is a talked about, well talked about phenomenon for a lot of different people. And a lot of people have a lot of different understandings of it. My understanding of posthumanism is whatever the standard of humanity was, some people are trying to move from quote unquote the standard. So I'm going to tell you what I don't know about it. So a lot of people don't understand that humanism has elements of people who have been dehumanized by certain groups, meaning that in order for me to be a human, I had to dehumanize that group. You ever notice that people who are labeled as Black were 3/5 of a person, right?
Right.
So a lot of people don't understand is one of the biggest things of this nation, when I say nation, I mean the United States, it was based off class and status and economics, right? The first political parties of the United States is the have and the have-nots, the free and the slave, right? So when you have those two statuses, that means in order to justify taking someone's humanity away, you have to justify the fact that they're not even classified as a human being. So basically moving on from that random Europeanized standard of what a human being is supposed to be, that is post-humanism, moving past that fake stuff. That's basically what it means, right? And the intellectual tradition is to understand what humanity really is. And a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people have replaced their identity and their humanity with their status, to the point where our status has been in our language so long that we think we are our status instead of what God made us to be.
Wow.
For
Man,
real. Some people are so gung-ho about representing their clique, they don't even know what human they were when they were born. They just know the clique now.
Man, I actually just told somebody that as well. I feel like they have this character, right? And then when they start going through things, those things make them question. You know what I'm saying? Like and
Right.
person will have like maybe this whole thing is going to allow you to be who you actually really are, and you don't have to worry about the guilt, the shame, or embarrassment, or anything else. It's just beautiful, man, that we have all of these random conversations with people who face adversity. And man, if y'all if y'all logged in late, I'm telling you, you got to go all the way back to the beginning as if this was one of your favorite YouTube preachers, educators, informers, or whoever, and watched it from the beginning. I think this is probably, again, one of those shows where this probably the least I've spoken on the show.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Gleaning all of the information, man, just taking that opportunity to really learn.
Sure.
Because I truthfully, this is me being transparent. I have a desire to read a lot of things and learn a lot of things, but I don't have a desire to read a lot of stuff. I don't have a desire to read. Oh my,
I feel you.
So there's a journey that I'm on now that I haven't shared publicly, but there's a journey that I'm on now, and it's so intriguing. It's so enlightening, man. It's breathtaking and refreshing, man. But I'm like, yo, I gotta commit to really reading these books so I can what life was before I was here and how people shifted and changed our lives, and why we act and respond and react the way that we do when probably something deep down inside of us is like, you don't even got to entertain that. You don't even got to respond like that. You can move on. You can go forward. All those things. And with that, I want to go into emotional discipline.
Yes, sir. Emotional discipline. One of the things that has proven to be the downfall for a lot of people, right? I just tell people emotions, they're valid, but it's very dangerous for your emotions to always be the priority. They're always valid. How you feel is always valid. I think no one should ever have their feelings taken away or not considered, right? But I always tell people this: there sometimes it's a huge difference between how you feel and what's real. Never ever pawn the facts because of your feelings. Because your feelings sometimes are temporary. That's the reason why I tell people this: happiness is cool, but it's not good enough. Happiness is based off something that can happen. If your mood is based off something happening outside of you, you're gonna be chasing happiness your whole life. And that's why I tell people all the time, man, happiness ain't good enough, y'all, in order for us to really maximize this thing we got called life. You have to be emotionally disciplined. And one thing I didn't understand about discipline is freedom. No actually means yes. What do I mean? If you don't know how to say no, you're going to be a slave to everything. No is self-love. That's what a lot of people don't get. How many people you know who have a hard time saying no and they fully functional?
Me. Not fully functional.
I'm telling you.
I'm not fully functional, man, but I have the hardest time saying no. But
man,
I literally was just telling people over the past couple of weeks, I posted about it even a few weeks ago. Like this year is the last year that I'm overcommitting, overextending, overexerting myself.
Yes.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the guy, or want to be known for always being there, always being available, always being accessible. When in reality, man, I'm not giving people my best me. I'm not giving things my best
Mm-hmm.
effort. I'm not making the most of my time. I'm not maximizing my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing none of that, which is one of those conversations. I was gonna skip that one, but maximizing participation and ability. It's a
Mm-hmm.
those things, man, that I want you to go back to, continue, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely struggle with that. No, man, struggled.
And I'm gonna tell you this: emotional discipline for men. I was writing this down earlier when we were talking about making the women our lives proud. What a lot of people don't know is a lot of little young boys who had to grow up in the household where they had to be the son and the husband. They don't have a lot of emotional discipline because they had to be emotionally all over the place for a lot of different people.
Yeah,
So they're not. It's not men that are emotionally detached. A lot of men have been emotionally abused and misused as a child. So what we're dealing with is not emotional lack of discipline. A lot of men suffer from emotional fatigue.
yeah,
It's a lot for a young boy to be responsible for his mother's emotions. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of men, honestly, like I told you before, a lot of men have been born on trial. They've already trying to make sure that they're one of the good ones. That means they have to prove they're not one of the bad ones. And trying to prove you're not one of the bad ones every day in your life, that's a lot of pressure. And a lot of men are fatigued. They're tired. So when people are tired, usually they stop or they quit. So it's a lot of people, and I tell people all the time, I know we talk about the single parent household and where are the men, where are the men? We have to really start looking at history a little bit, because when you start looking at the attack on men in our community, plus the military draft, plus just the overall culture, plus you got mass incarceration. When you start going through all of that, which group of men have been through just as much adversity as the men in our community? Our weight.
right.
And it's not an excuse, it's facts. I'm not asking you to excuse bad behavior. I'm just saying stop lying about us.
No, no,
Simple.
bro.
Just simple.
That
Just
that's
don't
that,
lie about us.
yeah, that's 100%. That is the
Yeah.
one
And
we culturally we just been strategically
yeah.
dehumanized. You said
Hmm.
demonized as
Yeah.
women for
Yeah.
so long and for so many years, man. And for century after century after century after century, and it's like you
Hmm.
almost lose a sense of self and a sense of your validity. And going back to the men being raised by women, a lot of that validity came from them, and
Yep.
when
Their
it's
emotions.
mom and aunts and
Hmm.
grandmas, that's why a lot of men, you know what I'm saying? And I could almost include myself a bit more transparent.
Hmm.
Why when you get older, you seek more validity from multiple women.
Yep.
It's what you
Yep.
condition. And so it's like you can get a really, really good woman and an incredible woman. And it's like, dang, well, am I not enough for you? And the reality of it is
Right.
the answer ain't no, you're not. But
Hmm.
emotional fatigue and that abuse or whatever. And then it's like, but the same people that
Yeah.
unintentionally abused me, they also gave me my self.
Yeah. So did. It's almost like a person. Your like there was a drug dealer that paid your way through college. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like he kind of compromised you, but he also put you through college, so you can't just be totally mad. But I will
Right.
tell people this: um, it's so important because it's not just about physical manhood, spiritual manhood, and the absence of spiritual manhood in the house has a lot to do with the emotional lack of discipline, right? Or the lack of emotional discipline. I'm gonna tell you why. Men are A lot of men are wired to give to women, right? So when you have a young boy who's still trying to figure out what man he is, but he's giving out all his emotions, he's burnt out before he's even 18. So usually when you are a young boy and you're responsible for the emotional stability of everyone in your house, you're going to be emotionally conflicted by the time you graduate from high school.
Right.
So that father in the household, what a lot of people don't understand, and I'm gonna ask, and I don't never tell fathers, I don't know everybody dynamic, but I need everybody to think about what I'm saying. You ain't gotta agree. Your presence, all the men, your presence in your household can emotionally protect your children from being emotionally burnt out before they even become an adult. Because men know how to check emotions in a certain way that can balance the household. It's not better or worse, it's balance.
Right.
That's what a lot of people don't get. You got estrogen and you got testosterone. Too much of anything is imbalance, right? And anytime when you have an imbalanced ride, the ride is rough. That's what a lot of people don't get. And the reason why I would say this is because even when my parents got divorced, I had 7 uncles that would raise me around the clock. They would take shifts, giving me game, taking me places, giving me experiences, showing me leadership. No, we're finna go to church today. You got to get in the car. All right, no, you riding up here in front with me. Let me show you the back road. I'm talking about they would sit down and just give me game around the clock, and I didn't have the car. And I'm gonna tell you this: it's nothing more mentally empowering for a young boy, for a grown man to dial his number and reach out to him.
Mm.
I'm telling you, because having an older person acknowledge your presence, it does a lot for your self-esteem, your spirit, your overall mindset, and your, I would say, your confidence as a human being. Because somebody that looks like you is acknowledging your presence, now you feel like you're not a mistake. And a lot of people don't understand is being rejected by somebody that looks like you, it's hard to love yourself when you're rejected by somebody that looks like the older version of you. And I want a lot of adults to understand this, the way we are approaching our children with all of this vitriol and yelling at them and beating on them and what happened to me so they can handle it, I beg to differ. This generation got too many distractions to handle the same type of domestic abuse that we handle. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us had that domestic abuse, but we had some type of functional structure somewhere, right? This new generation is getting domestic abuse, verbal harassment, and 10 times the amount of distractions we had. And people wonder what's wrong with them. They just responded to the world we built for them. And I'm not excusing bad behavior. I'm just being honest to where that behavior is starting. You can't yell at a child all day and wonder why they don't want to talk to you. Nobody's teaching them, we just telling them. And that's the issue. We need teachers. We need somebody to sit down and give you game instead of just throwing you in the game and you get hurt and getting yelled at you and yelling at you because you got hurt. It's not enough.
Man, I want to touch these other two, man, but for the sake of time,
Go ahead.
To leaders and cross.
Give me a time limit. I'm gonna do them in 30 seconds. I promise. I'll put a time on it. Which ones you want to get to?
Here we go. First generation success mindset. Well, no. I don't want to start there. I want to start with forgiving our fathers, because that was a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Our fathers.
Got you. All right. Why should I do a presentation called Why Should I Forgive Our Father, right? And forgiveness is not necessarily amnesia. That don't mean you need to forget everything that happened or didn't happen. Forgiveness is basically give the respect and give the observation to your father so you can make a conscious and balanced decision of how you're going to interact with him. Some of us are interacting with our fathers based off the rumor we received about him instead of getting his point of view or his observation from us. Not saying that you're supposed to like somebody, but you at least need to have enough respect for yourself to go get your own opinion about your father. That's what it's about. What's the next one?
First generation success mindset.
All right. First generation success mindset. A lot of people have a lot of pressure of being the first person in their family, so they get a lot of pressure, right? And so first generation success mindset is to know your value and know what problems you are not responsible for. And see, first generation mindset doesn't mean that you take on all of the pressure of the people who made bad decisions. It is not your job to hold the family on your back. It is your job to make sure you understand the mistakes of your family so you don't have to repeat them. And that is it. So a lot of people in first generation, a lot of people think you're supposed to be this. And sometimes, and I get it, you want to be proud of your child or whatever. Hey, we're going to bank on you. But a lot of people don't understand. Everybody on this planet have their own assignment given by their creator. It's hard to do my homework and everybody else's too. That's what I tell my parents. Parents, if you didn't do a certain thing because you had a lack of discipline, give your child the truth instead of giving him what you wish you had. Sometimes we're not meant to be the same thing. That was your assignment, and you use your free will to either complete it or not. Be honest with what you did with your assignment so they know exactly what to do with theirs.
And last but not least, man, your very first one, man, Leaders in Cross-Culture Communications back in 2009.
Man, look, culture is a chosen way of life. I always start off with that presentation of how many cultures you think exist on the planet. I said the amount of cultures is the exact same amount of people on the planet. Culture is a chosen way of life. You can be in the same family and have different cultures from everybody. You can be in the same family and wonder how y'all related. That's how deep culture goes, right? So I tell them cross-cultural leadership means just because you're in the same group, affiliated with the same race or gender, or all these different statuses we use, you still got to know the human being for yourself. Because if you go in and make somebody representative and then nobody vote for them, that's the most politically correct way to take away their humanity, by making them a representative without their permission.
Ooh. Man. This is probably been, I feel like we got to do a part 2 just because I think I want to talk to you again on this platform. You know,
that's real. We can do it. We can do it.
That's incredible, man. Actually, we're about to get ready to do a reunion. I used to host this show called the Teachers Lounge, and we had all cast, all Black men in education from every.
Yes, sir.
And I want to add you to the reunion, man. I might have you as a guest facilitator, man. You know, because
for sure, I'm open to it.
This has probably been one of the best, man. And I don't always say that about my shows. I have like favorites because I laugh a lot or because I learn something new, so on and so forth, man. But this one right here, man, has probably been one of the most eye-opening episodes that I've had on the network, man. And I've been doing this for a while now, man. But this has been really engaging. Like I said, this is the least that I think that I've actually spoken on this because
it's real,
man. But I would be remiss, man, if I didn't allow you an opportunity to answer this one final question. How has being a family man enhanced your life?
Man, I put like this, and this is, I don't even like to say it's strange, but it's peculiar. I've been wanting to be a father since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Been wanting to be that. I wanted to be a husband ever since I was 10. Like I always wanted to be that husband and father, to the point I had like a demeanor that was not conducive to a middle school relationship. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted that responsibility, because I don't know what it was. I was just always focused on it. I couldn't wait to have my own family. I couldn't wait to be that father that didn't smile in the picture. I couldn't wait to be that dad, you know what I mean? But I hope everybody keep giving them socks and drawers every birthday. Right. You know what I'm saying? He got to keep that look on his face like it's the best pair of drawers he ever seen in his life. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like the day I get home from work, I was tired today, and just to see my daughter get out of her chair to run to the door. I'm telling you, man, it's one of the things about being a family man. When you start finding out how many people didn't have the luxury of having one, it helps you with your vision. Because when you see a lot of people who had lack, it makes you understand where, and you know, some people call it blessings. I just call it chances and opportunities. Everybody has their fair share of opportunities, man. Some people have opportunities I didn't have. I had something they didn't have, right? But one of the things about being a family man, it just keeps me grounded. It keeps me humble. It keeps me thankful. And just being a husband and a father, two best jobs I've ever had, that nobody can, if I receive money for it, I will still be underpaid, because the job itself is priceless. You know what I mean? Just finding a woman who gets you. Like I told my friend the other day, I said, hey man, I met my wife when she was getting a master's at Georgia Southern. She's getting a third master's now in school psychology. She loves children. We have similar backgrounds in our childhood. We have our fair share of adversity, but we read and we look at certain things. But we also will look at the 8 Ball and MJG versus UGK versus with our baby, and we was in there having a ball. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about, like, you know, and my wife from Memphis, man, so she'll sit down and tell me about 8 Ball, MJG, Player 5, you know, 3-6, Gangsta, like everybody. And that culture, I grew up off that culture. So when I met her, I was like, man, I grew up off Memphis music. Like that was it. And to have somebody to know what type of music I like, and she was already playing it first and trying to tell me who we had it. I remember the time I fell in love with her when we were having, it wasn't even a debate, but we had a real good conversation about 8 Ball and MJG lyrical content and lyrical, I would say, talent. And I was just like, she don't even know. I just chose real hard. Like, I ain't never had no conversation with no woman in depth about 8 Ball and MJG. You know what I mean? So that was it. But she's very talented. Her family has always accepted me, been very, very loving and supportive of our relationship. And my family has always supported her as well. And, you know, we have a beautiful daughter, man. And you know, we just try to remain thankful and functional and out the way. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that we're functional human beings. You know, we want to make sure that we're honest in front of each other. We don't judge each other, but we don't pull no punches either. Sometimes, you know, when we tell each other what's up is what it is, but we know how to communicate. And I think the biggest thing for us, man, we don't do cloud and status. We really don't. We just need to be functional and grounded. As far as what we look like to folks, man, that's something me and her, we really decided that we really don't care about that. We need something functional. We want what we wanted when we were kids, and we want to give it to our kids, and we're gonna do it too. Regardless what this world want, man, we're gonna get that foundation. We had too much help not to do it the right way. You know what I mean? Being a family man, I was a son, I was a cousin, I was a grandson first, and just knowing how to honor my grandmother, who's 103 years old. She's my best friend. She worked in education first, and what a lot of people don't understand, yeah, she worked as a lunchroom attendant. She was a quote unquote lunch lady, but when you ask her, she said, "Baby, I had the biggest classroom in the whole school. I saw every baby in there, and I had a chance to give them something that nobody else can give them, a warm meal and a hug." And so when she gave me that mentality, she's the reason why I got and went into business for educational consulting, because she showed me how to actually speak with children instead of just speaking at children. She said, "Do you know how to listen to them? Do you know how to pick up on cues? Do you know how to see when they're looking down on the floor? Do you know when their self-esteem is down? Do you know when they're irritated and agitated? All right, when they're sleepy, they may look like this. When they're hungry, they may look like this. Don't take it personal. Baby's responding to the world we brought them to. We can't make them responsible for what we got going on. If a baby is mad, you didn't do anything, don't take it personal. Take it serious." And when she told me that, I said, "There's so many people that don't know this. I think I can help people with it." And she said, go for it. And she would give me notes, and I would interview her, and she would just give me the game straight up. Had a mother that always prioritized education. I had to get in the books when I was at home, bro. It wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And like you were saying earlier, I had a high GPA. I had a 3.67 GPA at Cedar Grove. I wasn't no dummy. You know what I'm saying? It was getting to the point where we were gonna get that work done. I was surrounded by people who had to get that work done. My best friend at Georgia Southern, no, I'm sorry, at Cedar Grove, God rest his soul, man, Jason Howell. Jason Howell, he was he passed away in 10th grade, but he would help me with my homework, man. He was A1 person that was heavily involved in sports, very, very popular, man, very good-hearted man, and that left us, you know what I mean? But he was the epitome of the top notch. And his parents to this day still look after all of the people who were his friends, and me included. They've adopted so many people, and there's their principles and their love and their admiration for humanity and just the human experience, man. The Halls, man, shout out to them. All love and nothing but honor and respect to them. They are one of the reasons why I'm a functional human being. Straight facts. So a family man, you're just looking at a family man who was a family boy first.
Man, bro, I appreciate that so much, man. Wigglesworth Network, home of the unwarranted but necessary opinion live with your boy Wiggles. This is your boy Wiggles. We got Dr. Chris Pugh. Let the people know how they can get in contact with you, man, how they can find you, follow you, hire you, book you, or whatever, man. Let them know.
Yeah. Man, this is the best thing people can do for me, man. Look me up on Google and leave a positive 5-star review. If you ever had an experience with me before, go to Google and go to Yelp and type in Manhood Mindset out of Statesboro, Georgia. All right, go ahead and leave a review. I don't care if you booked me before, I had a conversation with me before. A lot of people don't know is people look at those reviews to see if they're going to book you or not. Right. So if I ever impacted you in a positive way, Google that and just leave a positive review. To contact me directly, you can email me at info@manhoodmindset.com. You can go to my website, which is manhoodmindset.com. Social media, IG and Twitter is at Manhood Mindset. On Facebook, facebook.com/MCPUGH. That's my first two initials, first and middle initial, and my last name. Go on LinkedIn and look up Christopher Pugh, Manhood Mindset, and look up YouTube, Christopher Pugh, Manhood Mindset, man. So, and just right now, I am still consulting, professional speaking. I'm a professor at Georgia Southern University. I teach a diversity and education course, which I talk about race, religion, politics, sex and war, education, economics, and entertainment, the 9 areas of human activity that was given by Neely Fuller and Francis Cress Wilson. But I teach kids who are going into the education field, so they have to talk about the truth before they go in there and protect our children, because a lot of them don't know the truth about class and status. And anytime when you don't know how much power you have, it's easier to abuse it. I just picked up a couple of FYE courses to help kids in their freshman year matriculate through college. And other than that, y'all, last but not least, from what I've been seeing in the pandemic, I have now made a decision to get my clinical mental health license. So there will be another male counselor out in the world for men to talk to. What I've been seeing and hearing a lot is there are a lot of men who go to therapy, but they don't have a lot of people who respect how men think. So that's one of the things I kept hearing. I said, look, if I'm gonna help, I need to help in the best way I can. A lot of people don't have the cash, but they do have insurance. So I'm going to get my license to help as many people as humanly possible.
Brother, that's incredible, man. Again, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Hold tight real quick. I'm going to end this thing. Y'all, thank y'all so much for
Yes,
rocking with the
sir.
Boy Wookers World Network, home of the young entrepreneur series. Pen, it's your boy Wookers. You see this hat right here, man. This is brought to you in part by Filthy Rags, Isaiah 64:6. You need to go to www.filthyragsclothing.online.com. Please, please, please support. They got so much incredible stuff going down in the major way. You see that right there? I had a shirt on yesterday, man. For those of y'all see me posting, I was on the yard. You need to check it out. That's filthyragsclothingline.com. Check out all of that stuff. Get inspired. This shirt I got right here, man. Era clothing. Right here, man. My cousin, and both of them my cousins, man. Shout out to both of my cousins, man. They're like they're two of my sisters, man. I don't want to call them big sisters, but they older than me. But
Right.
two of my cousins, man, they looked out for me, man. So the shirt is designed by my cousin. She took one of my photos, man. So anybody want this shirt,
That's
man?
tight.
Anybody want this shirt? You need
That's
to go
hard.
get Era is SWSH_ERA on Instagram. DM on right now, man. Tell her you want my shirt. If you need Filthy Rags on filthyragsclothingline.com, you need to do that. Remember, do somebody good, somebody will do you good. Keep God first and everlasting. We are out of here.
Peace.